I don't know how much value I have in this universe, but I do know that I made a few people happier than they would have been without me. And as long as I know that, I'm as rich as I ever need to be.
Hey kid, what time is it?
It's time to refresh.
Back once again with another podcast. This is episode 92 of the It's Time to Refresh podcast. Today we've got people asking for more MCs, and so I've went out my way and we've got MC DOT. Massively on my radar from the last couple of years. I know he's been around, we talked about it online the other day, was it 2005 that you...
Say 2005 is when I started medicine, so the first club booking would have been about 2004. That would have been the first club booking, but obviously you mess about for a few years and you're doing your bedroom sets and shit and that, don't you?
We'll get into your story in about 2 minutes, but I want to know what you had for tea last night first.
See, I was prepared for this question at first. I thought when it comes, I'm going to make sure I have a decent tea so I can. But unfortunately, it was fucking super noodles before I went out last night in a rush, and then I had a Mackey's on the way back.
What flavour? What flavour super noodles?
It's got to be Coca.
Okay, right. No worries. What did you get for your Mackey's?
Cheeseburger. That was on the way back from Pure last night.
That's a shit. I'm sorry.
It was
It's
shocking.
not the worst one we've had yet, but it was shit that. You go to Mackey's, I was expecting a better order. What did I have? I had steak and eggs. I'm trying to diet like fucking, it's just not working. Trying to lose weight, trying to get fucking jacked on it, but it doesn't work. Just it's the effort, isn't it? But yeah, so you were telling me before off pod that it was Pure last night for Avi's. Was it 4? Is it called 4-0?
Yeah, it was his 40th, but he didn't want to call it his 40th because he said it sounded too old. So he called it 4-0.
Right, I'll be honest with you. Before today, I genuinely thought you were from over like Warrington. We're just pure like medicine, and that's, do you know what I mean?
I did live in Warrington for a bit.
Oh, did you? Right,
Yeah.
okay. It's just because I always associated you with that area rather than like where you live. I'm not going to say where you live because obviously you don't want people knowing, but and we'll just say like Bolton area, right? And I always thought like, obviously we're going to get into your story. I don't know about this, but did you come in through like the Bolton scene at all?
No. It was, so I know Fitton. He's from round my way, and I actually at the time didn't know he DJ'd, but it was kind of like sort of last minute sort of thing. Found out he DJ'd and then got asked, did I want to come up to medicine?
All right. Okay.
So it went from there, and then that's when. At the time, I didn't live in Warrington. I moved up to Warrington after that.
So did you know what medicine was prior to? No, you just turned up.
Never heard of it. Yeah.
Did you ever go over that way to Warrington?
To be fair, it wasn't established then.
Yeah, I get that. But were you going over that way at all, or
No, never. I don't think I'd ever been to Warrington, other than probably drove through it for a job or something like that. But I'd never been out in Warrington before. Or anything
all
like
right, Kia. But so if we go like right back to the beginning, then where did it all start for you? I like listening to like MCs tell their stories because it's completely different. Oh, we all end up in the same places. Do you know what I mean? Like the same gigs and stuff like that. But the start off's always different with MCs. So
like music-wise or bands?
Music
would be from like a very young age. I was obsessed with music. I've always been obsessed with music. I think probably the first, as far as I can remember back, would be I was obsessed with Michael Jackson. So like, I've got a family video of when I was a kid. And, like, camera goes into my bedroom and it's like poster of Michael Jackson on the wall, Michael Jackson bedding, then I get out of bed and I've got a Michael Jackson night.
Fuck off, yeah.
Yeah, it was mad. I would be that kid on that Neverland, what's it called? Returning back to Neverland documentary. That would be me. I would be sat at the end of that bed with Michael Jackson with milk and cookies.
I thought you would lead into a joke or something there, but it sounds true. So go on then. I actually like Michael Jackson, not as much as that, like, but what's your favourite MJ tune?
You put me on the spot now, I forgot them all. Don't know, Bad was a bad one.
How old were you?
Oh, Smooth Criminal. That video's sick.
Yeah,
It walks in at the start, flicks that quarter across the room, it goes into the jukebox.
He had style, like. But what sort of age was that then?
I would have been about 5.
Yeah. Interesting.
So I just remember being like obsessed with music, like constantly. I'd have these tunes on, play it back to the start and just constantly. I was obsessed with it. I think then after there would have been. I remember like. What would have been after that? I did a little bit of a timeline. I got my memory shit.
Yeah, honestly, I know loads of people who do this before the pod, so go on.
I remember my daddy used to have like a jukebox and a record player. And it was like a tape player sort of thing, and it was quite advanced for its time. It had phono connections.
Yeah.
So, cause I remember I connected up his like record player up to this like jukebox. I remember doing my own radio show. So he had like proper shit old tunes. I remember like whacking them on there and I'd play them, and then when it comes to the end, it was like as if I had some kind of audience, had like a little microphone.
And that was that shit tune by so-and-so.
Like, next up, tie a yellow ribbon round that tree. Thanks for listening. But I think I even had like I was doing competitions on there and shit. Like,
Collins.
Collins. Like, putting the voices on. I was a fucking weird kid.
Mate, I was just as weird. We're just as weird. Like, I think I remember when I was younger, I used to have like I'd write all my tune lists down with like stuff that I'd collected, and I'd put them into like subcategories that didn't mean anything. But to me, it meant everything. So like, it wasn't even like, oh, this is fucking, I don't know, this is dance music, this is rock music, whatever. I had this was like a Bradley level 4 tune. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, and then the higher the level, the better the tune it was. Do you know what I mean? Pathetic as a child, man. And that was about 6 or 7 years old. I was like, oh. When you look back at it, you just think, what a weird child, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is going back to like when we didn't have like internet and all shit like that. So
yeah, keeps on
the tunes that you wanted. I remember like the radio would be on at the weekend, and it'd be the top 40, and if there was a tune that you wanted to be able to play back, you'd have to wait for it, and then as soon as it came on, push record, and that was it.
Class. I know, it's different times altogether. Like, I think that's why a lot of music now goes sort of throwaway, because when you're there and it's like, in my opinion anyways, do you not think that someone brings a tune out, it could be like a big star or whatever, and it sort of just gets forgot about the week after, because you're not waiting to hear it. It's like, oh, you can just knock it on Spotify or whatever, or YouTube, get on it, listen to it 10 times, right, and then that's that gone. That's a good tune, that, and then you forget all about it. Whereas I remember Michael Jackson album I had, and you go and like you'd memorize it, like track 4 was Billie Jean, and like you could just go, like, do you know what I mean? And
well, my dad, he used to pick me up from in the morning and take me to school, and there's like one sort of childhood memory I have related to music. He used to always like have an album which he'd listen to, and he'd batter that album for like 3 months. But it'd be like, there'd be no skipping tracks, it'd be played in its order.
I love that. That's
that'd be like battering like an album for 3 months, and then he'd get a new one. It was that. So like I say, it's the songs are a lot more listened to, aren't they? There was a lot more listened to like them, just a lot more throwaway now, innit?
Yeah, I when I was younger as well, I remember taking like a Walkman to school. Like this was years ago. Like, but and I'd put a CD in. Obviously, you can't like carry like CDs around with you, but like put a CD in for that day. And if like I remember like getting on the bus or fucking walking to school or whatever, and it's like, oh, I'm not even in the mood to listen to this now. When you're getting up there, I wish I put that fucking CD on instead. But you could just do that on your phone now. Do you know what I mean? I don't fancy listening to fucking, I don't know.
Oh yeah, you were stuck with that.
Yeah. I'm not in the mood for Oasis today. I want some proper donk. But you know, it's you can't do it because you've just got to listen to it. So then it's more listenable, I suppose, isn't it?
So with me, it was cassettes, not CDs.
Well, I had tapes because I used to have all the old Zone tapes. I got them somewhere. I went in the loft last night to get my. I keep everything, proper hoarder. Get my little lad all my old wrestling figures from like the 90s, like your Kane and
you're
fucking
into wrestling, aren't you?
I love it, mate. But my little lad's getting into it, so I passively mentioned I had like wrestling figures, and then he kept getting on to me about it. So I went into the loft last night, and I've just forgot about all the music that I've got up there. I was like, went in there, like stuff like Boxes Collecting Dust, and I'm like, oh, that's a tune. That's a tune. Oh, I remember this CD, and all my old tape recordings, because I used to like get like. My mum and dad lived separate, and I had a tape player at my mum's and I had a CD player at my dad's. So I'd record all the tunes I like off the CD.
Yeah.
and I'd have my own little compilation of like fucking just completely different tunes off each CD, and I'd go and I just absolutely batter that for like 2 weeks until I came back.
DJing's always been there.
Well, yeah, I suppose it is. Yeah, I mean, but it was erratic though. Like I say, you could be listening to fucking Take That 1 second, and then it could be like some like fucking Zone tune or something like that, and I've just stopped it and started it, and it'll just go like out of like fucking Relight My Fire into like On Your Side, and it just
That's exactly what I'm like with. I love music as a whole in general, rather than just try to get them people who are just like, I am one type of music.
Yeah.
Like if you go through my track list, still, like you say, you'll have Elton John, and then you'll have like in hardcore or something.
class. So when you were in school and that, what was the sort of big thing of the time, the music? What was popular?
So from, I remember primary school was like sort of like the pop sort of era. It was like Backstreet Boys, Spice Girls, and all them that were coming about.
So were you in, what was this, like 2000, something like that?
I can't remember what year. That would have been like, I probably would have been. Yeah, no, not a clue. I'm shit with times.
They're all guilty pleasures of mine back then. By the way, I love a little bit of Britney now and again. I mean, I don't tell anyone I do, but you know.
So around that time, it was all like kind of pop shit that was like in primary school, and then my first sort of listening to or dance music kind of came into it. My brothers used to go bowlers.
Yeah.
I've got two older brothers who quite a bit of an age gap. And I used to always have like the Helter Skelter tape packs, bowlers. I used to go there and like ultrasonic and all shit like that. So I remember being a young kid, like battering them as well and liking them.
It's like old school piano tunes and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I was like very young, like really young, and I was into them. It kind of reminds me of my life.
That's class. That is class. We'll get onto that as well. I love all that. Like I love the older siblings or cousins or whatnot, and listening to like the rave stuff from a young age. I never really got exposed to that other than my dad. Like he liked all the Italian and stuff. I think that it's amazing that like you only essentially like that because your brother's older and he's cooler and that's what it is.
Your brothers are influences, aren't they? So you listen to kind of the shit.
Can you remember any of the DJs that were like you were listening to, or the MCs even, or?
From the tape packs, I remember that you had like Stu Allen, Rat Pack, Ultrasonic. There was Fantasia, I think, was the actual label, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Carl Cox, he was on there.
Yeah.
It was all ones like that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, what about in school then? Was there a going in sort of secondary school? Was there a buzz about the dance music and that there?
Then it kind of went back to sort of like just chart and pop stuff for the first start of high school.
Yeah.
I can't remember when it first came about. Like the scene what we listened to now. I think at the time we called it hard house, and it's like develops now. It went into Scouse house, then bounce and donk, but yeah, at the time I think we labelled it as hard house. And the first time I remember listening to anything, it was a Maxime. I think it was a Maxime tape or a Zone tape. MC Tiny T.
Right. Doesn't ring a bell, that, you know.
Well, I've never heard of him since, apart from that night that it was on last night. I didn't see him there, but he was on the flyer. So in the group chat, I was like, no way, that's the first like.
That time you've seen him,
I remember we used to batter the tape, and we all used to listen to it on our phones and that.
Class. I can't say I've heard of him, to be honest with you. It must be local.
I think on the tape it was like Tiny T, Smoke and Breeze. But yeah, there was. That's just the first tape that I remember, because I remember us all battering it and we used to all sing it on the park, and then that was the kind of where I started to listen to like it was Maxime's tapes, and then the Cricketers tapes came in.
Just out of curiosity, does your building of friendships within, like, say, a secondary school and that, did that come together through music as well? Like, was it? I know it sounds daft, but like with the music you're into, did it find that you got with a certain group of friends or like that?
I think it might have changed my group of friends actually, because I hung about with everybody in the year above me.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had friends in my year, but my main group of friends was the year above me, and I I think that might have been the influence with music because they was listening to it and took an interest. Can't remember what came first, whether the friendship came first or whether it was because of the music. But it was around about that time, the same time, where I got in with that circle, and we was all like, into that music.
So when you started when does the MC come into it? Like, I know you heard this Tiny T. It didn't inspire you to become an MC.
No. Couldn't MC for shit.
Were you singing back the lyrics and that though?
Yeah. We was all just we was all just singing along to it. It was a tape we battered, so we all knew the rhymes on it.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, we started listening to. We were just getting into that sort of style, the dance music and MCing over dance music.
Yeah.
And then we decided, fuck it, let's go cricketers. So we, I think I probably would have been about 15 or 16.
You're still in school, obviously still in school.
Yeah. And like, we saving up dinner money to go on this night out. And you listen to the tapes, and I've got this vision in my head of what cricketers is going to be like, and it's this fucking super club. Yeah. It's like a beefer, and like there's fucking loads of people, and the MCs are all like sharp as fuck and that. And we saved our dinner money up, went to Wigan. I think we got the train down to Wigan and jumped in a taxi. Said, take us to cricketers. So he pulls up onto Keith Avenue and gets on there. And he says, right, lads, here you are. I was like, no, mate, I think you've got it wrong. Like, this isn't cricketers. He's like, yeah, it is, that's cricketers. We got out the taxi and we could hear it. It's like, fucking hell, you pull onto like this little, it's like a little shit building. And it just was nothing like what I had in my head. So we stood in the queue there, and you can hear FEZ and Wizard going for it. So I was like, buzzing. We got in there, it was like, this is absolutely nothing like what I expected it to be or what I envisioned it. But it was mint. It was amazing.
The atmosphere on them CDs though, I know where you're coming from. It sounds larger than life on some of the recordings where maybe, I don't know, the crowd noise is picked up a bit louder or what, I don't know. But
I'd never been to a club before, so it was just the only thing. I didn't have anything to go off. So it was just that in my head what I thought. I think I've been watching like Kevin and Perry go large, comparing it to that.
Yeah. John G is fucking eyeball Paul. Do you know what I mean?
Turn up there and just they got Wizard and Tracker.
So what was it like going in for the first time? Was it a busy night first and foremost?
There was. They always got busy, but I just remember the system what they had, where you had to get your photo taken. So you walk through and they take your details, and there was like a little web camera, and like look into the camera, and they saved you on the system. But I used to have this theory because at the time I would have been about 15. I used to have this strange theory that if I say that I'm 18, it just sounds on top. So I'll just completely go a bit further, because then it's like, I think I made myself about 25. Something stupid like that. I just thought if I just like go along with it and just look them dead in the eye and be like, no, honestly, I'm 25. I know I look young for my age. I get it all the time. It's like, it's more believable.
That's advanced theory, that.
But it fucking worked.
Yeah. So yeah, the 25-year-old at 15.
So yeah, it's just like you have that sound where you listen to these. You've been listening to these tapes and that, you get in there and you actually hear it. It's that atmosphere, and you're there, and it's you can't describe it, but it's.
So you went in, you said Farrell and Wizards on.
It would have been Farrell, Wizard, and Avi.
Right, and you've just seen what it's amazing when, like, because you've got pre-internet. You've got no idea of what the sound like. Do you know what it look like? Sorry, but you've got like the sound, so you can't picture what they look like. You go in there and it just sort of hits you, doesn't it? That,
there wasn't internet. Fucking then there was nothing. It was just literally the only thing we had to go off was a cassette what I had in my Walkman and earphones. Never seen them, never. But yeah, it was mint. It was like going there and seeing these people that you've been listening to for constantly, and I was listening to it constantly. Like I said, it was with music, I was obsessed with it, and it was an obsession. I remember like having the tapes in my Walkman. I'd say go out with my mates, and then I'd walk home, and if I hadn't finished the tape, I'd walk around the block again just
I like
so
that.
I could finish the tape. Because there's something about, I mean, I could have just come in and listened to it, but there was just something about having the earphones on and going for a walk and listening to it. I don't know.
I think the adult version of that's when you pull up in the car outside your house and you let the song finish.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
But I've done that many a times. Like,
Yeah.
just gone either walked the long way around or just thought, fuck it, I'm not going home yet. I'm pissing down rain there just so I can listen to the end of.
Yeah.
of a cricket
So was
thing.
it a Sanctuary night you went to, the first one?
The first one that I went to was that famous old side to the Stephen J. P&V one.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, so that was the first night that we went on that one because Sanctuary hadn't started the volumes yet.
Yeah.
That was it a 4-play night?
Yeah, I believe. Oh no, it was like a random Friday.
Yeah,
wasn't
it was Cricketer All Nighter, and then I think we went the week after, and it was a 4-play. Then there was a Meltdown one, which Gary Selects did, and then they started doing the Sanctuary volumes.
Yeah.
So I remember
You got in there at the right time then, really.
Yeah, I've got shout outs on there. I was going by Nicky D back then.
Class. MC Nicky D.
Imagine
Imagine it. I'm not saying imagine if it ended up being that though. Completely different vibe. I've got a better question about that later actually. But yeah, fucking hell, you got into as a raver for the bounce music, probably like an ideal time, like as it works out. And obviously you weren't emceeing that yet, but fucking hell, like you probably had some good nights out there then.
Yeah. It was especially for the age we was as well, because like I said, the first time I went, it was probably about 15, 16.
Where did you say to your parents you were going? Because that's an all-nighter, that, isn't it? So.
Oh, at the time, I pretty much had my own gaff. My mum was in between moving houses.
Yeah.
So she was pretty much staying in the other house, and I was staying in this other house until it sold, and it took quite a while.
Yeah.
So she'd just turn up at the weekends and be like, drop loads of shopping off. I'd be like, right, see you next week. That's how Mum. We loved it. So my house was the party house.
Class.
So we all used to just go to Cricketers, go back there.
Replay the tapes again.
Yeah, completely hammer the house. The neighbours hated us, and then I tidy it all up. And my mum was none the wiser, but she'll know. She's
Yeah, excellent. So this was the start of you going out. When was the first time you went to like a bigger club, like a Maxime's or a Pier or anything like that?
We didn't really go to. I mean, I went to Maxime's pretty much later on when I started emceeing. We used to, because we loved Cricketers, and there was many times where we'd walk down and we wanted to go to Pier, and then at the last minute we'd end up going to Cricketers. But I think it was more just because we all loved the emceeing, and Pier didn't. So around that time I didn't really go to Pier.
Yeah, it makes sense. But was there that niggle in your mind as well? Well, we know we can get in here as well, so we might get knocked back from Pier.
Yeah,
obviously.
that as well.
Yeah, excellent. I love all that. Like, definitely. So, have you got no tingle for DOT to come about yet at this point?
I mean, I think probably about that time, with the obsession with listening to it all, I remember like listening to the rhymes and what they were saying. I remember rewinding it because I wanted to know every word, what was being said, and if I didn't get it, I'd rewind it again until I knew everything what they were saying. So I think that's probably where the appreciation of it all like then started coming about.
Yeah.
And then also as well, I was just as interested in the music and the tunes. One of my mates had just got some decks, so I took an interest in that as well, and I wanted a pair of decks, so my mum got me some for Christmas. The first pair, they were quite decent as well, actually. The Sony Direct Drive ones. I can't remember what model it was, but they were alright.
Direct drives to start off with, though, ain't bad, is it?
Oh, at the time, everybody had fucking belt drives. So,
Yeah.
So it was decent. But I used to love going about to all the record shops and just finding records.
Tunes you've heard on CDs and stuff.
Yeah,
and tips.
because Cricket has played a variety of like bits that were out then, bits of older stuff, Italian. I love Italian, so I enjoyed going on like the internet and just scouring for
stuff. Yeah.
Italians with the original with the stamps on and that. And
There's no better than like hearing a tune on an old CD and tape at the time and finding out the name of the tune to go and hunt it out. And it's like, I remember there was a shop in Workington, and I was after this tune for ages. I kept hearing it on CDs. If I'm not mistaken, it could have been a John G tune. And I remember hearing it and I'm thinking, this is fucking doing my head in. I can't find it anywhere. And like I was like looking around on the internet for this one tune, couldn't find it. There was no inkling to what the name was or anything. And the whole time I'd been going to this record shop in Workington, and it was just there. It was like I remember seeing the sleeve, and it was just there, and I'm like, never bothered about. It didn't look like a typical bounce sleeve. It was a bit more. It seemed to look a little bit classier. Do you know what I mean? Because usually they were just the square sleeves, and you can sort of tell when you've got like a, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something like quite a posh. Like if you look at the old Defected labels, they were always a bit cleaner and tidier than if you got like a yeah. And it was just one of these ones. I can't remember what tune it was. I will find out. And I'll put it in the comments. But I remember hearing this tune, and I was like asking everyone for it. And then when I found out what it was, I was looking, and I thought, surely this can't be it. This has been in here for weeks and weeks. Put it on. Oh my god, it's that tune. It's that tune. I'll have some of that.
Did you not do the usual thing of making a twat yourself and just go in and just singing to the guy?
No, it was. I'm sure it's not like I wasn't going to do the melodies or out like that, but it wasn't. There wasn't much. That's why I couldn't get the track title for it. There was no like hook line or anything in the tune. So
it's that tune that goes badumst.
yeah. And I'm too shy to do shit like that. Go in and start fucking thinking off a riff to him. I just the embarrassment even thinking about it just does me in.
I enjoyed it even just going through them though, just listening to, because you can tell whether a tune is a decent tune or one that you like just by a few seconds of putting it on the middle on a few
definitely.
sections. And I just used to spend loads of time just going in there, going through them. I'll just get a fucking pile of them.
Was the first idea to be a DJ before an MC then, would you say?
I don't think there ever was a desire to be a DJ. It's mad the way I see things are now compared to what they was. Like I don't know whether it's like that for anybody else, but there was no desire for me to. I thought I want to be a DJ and I want to be like same with MCing. Like when I got into the MCing, I didn't really think I want to be an MC or like have any kind of
pathway.
I was just doing it because I loved it.
Yeah. So this is a thing that I was talking about this with somebody literally the other day. It's whereas like now you see all these like smaller gigs, and it's got people on who people 20 years ago they wouldn't have been DJs. They would have just been the level of what maybe you were like fan obsessed ravers, where you want the tunes so you can listen to them at home, like and have them on the vinyl, but they're not necessarily DJs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think I was talking to Dave Gray about it, and we were saying it's like that's why now it feels like there isn't many like diehard tune lovers, because all the diehard tune lovers are like the DJs who go out and play.
Well, I think a lot of people they want. They want to be the name of the DJ. They want to be the DJ. They want the persona or more than the actual love for the music.
Yeah, I get that. But like we were saying that like I don't know how to word this without I don't mean to come across as rude or anything towards anybody. But like some people are just bedroom DJs, but the bedroom DJs because it's not because they want to be a DJ. It's because they love all the tunes and. They love going to raves as ravers, but because they're known now of they've got a set of decks and stuff like that, people just say they're like a room 2 DJ, but they're not. They're just fan obsessed DJs who love listening to the MCs. Look, like you'll have. I know everyone's got them who's got some sort of like little following. You'll have these people who'll know all your lyrics and stuff like that. But then they might have a little freestyle MC when they're in a fucking bar somewhere, and it's like it becomes one of these things. Now they're an MC. You just get labelled as a DJ or as an MC, but no, you're just a crazed fan who loves collecting music.
You're not a DJ until you're not like a club DJ until you've obviously got a booking.
Yeah,
and it seems like you obviously would have to put yourself out there to try and get them bookings.
Yeah,
I've never put myself out there. I never have.
Do you think that's ever let you down? Like.
No, because I did everything that I wanted to do. Like I was happy doing where I was, and it kind of I just fell into it. Yeah. I've never really pushed to go any further.
Did you? Was there nothing that you once you got into that loop of like, well, I was seeing essentially or the circuit as such. Was there nothing? I fancy doing that. I wouldn't mind doing that. Like, was there nothing that to sort of give you that like fire underneath you?
I mean, obviously there's places where you go, oh, I'd like to do there and stuff. But I think, I mean, especially now I've got older, I'm very much more like kind of
Take it or leave it.
I've done it all. I did it for years and years, and it's kind of like now I'll go out when I want to and I enjoy it. And so now I'm a bit older. I'm happy to stay in and don't do fuck all. 'Cause I can't handle the hangover.
It's the appreciation of having like nothing to do. Like I love that over the last, I don't know, I'm going to say 6 months, there hasn't been a single day where I could just sit down on my sofa in my own house and just take it easy, because there's always something constantly happening. I mean, I did have a kid like 6 weeks ago, but that's beside the point. But there's always something. You're always preparing to do something. You're always, and I like the wind down sometimes, but it doesn't come often. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as you get older, you start to appreciate the quieter times rather than
Definitely.
going out every weekend and whatnot.
It takes its toll on you as well, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of effort, and it's a big part of your life, because it isn't just the night that you go out on, especially now. Anyway, I mean, when I was younger, it was all right. I could get up the next day and go to work and feel sound, but now if I go out, I'm writ off for a week, so I have to weigh it up. I'm like, so now when I look at nights or when I get bookings, I'm like.
Yeah, if you get asked to do a night on one Saturday and then the following Saturday, you're like, can I do 2 weekends in a row?
Fuck that.
But yeah, so we'll get into this then, because I was going to say something on here that when I was driving down, it just clicked in my head. When I always think of medicine, well, like we will get to it, but I always think that the first MC I think of is always you for whatever reason. I don't know whether because you were always there, or when I listen to the tapes, like CDs back, I'm like, you were always on the CDs, but you must have been in there a lot of
It was
time.
every Friday and Saturday, without fail, from when I started to when it went.
Excellent. Like, so yeah, you were talking about going. We sort of went off course there, but you were talking about going to the Crick, talking about sort of the love for the music, getting the decks and stuff. So what came next then? Was any of your mates that you were in that circle with at that time, are they DJs now or MCs now?
The DJ that was like from the area that I'm from was Tom H.
Right.
So he was kind of like an influencer. I always used to get like CDs off him and stuff, and used to go around to his house and he'd show me how like put his tunes on and stuff like that. So yeah, there's Tom, and then my mate Dina, he was the one who had a pair of decks. Went round to his house and we was like playing tunes and that, and then it just started. You know, plug a mic in and just fucking about, probably repeating other people's rhymes that I had no business doing.
Yeah, I know when you're young, you know, no different.
Yeah, so just like mimicking and having a fuck about, and then your mates start going, "Oh, you sound all right, actually," and then someone pushes record, and next thing you're listening to his set.
Hopefully, it's not somebody else's rhyme.
Oh, it definitely fucking will have been.
Yeah,
he's definitely ripping off Ave, Wizard, and FEZ. Yeah, on them tapes. So hopefully they never resurface.
Can you remember the first recording you like that's maybe out there that you've heard back and you thought, oh fucking hell?
I regret saying this now because I know that Dini probably still does have these recordings and he probably will pop up with it. I think he did show it me a few years ago and was just like, oh my god, turn it off.
Class, I love that. I love all that.
But yeah, it just started with just messing about with stuff like that, and then the group that we were in, I think like a few of them got the tapes, and you're listening, you're thinking, well, people are listening to it, people are liking it, so yeah, I just started writing bits and doing bits myself then.
So when I don't know the process of being an MC, so I mean, we've all fucking spat rhymes in the car when you're there. You're not an MC. I don't know the process of writing. So when it comes down to it, like when you very first started, did you know what shit was? Like I know, like you said you'd listen back to people's rhymes and stuff, but like, did you know what like 8 bars was, or did you know how to structure a rhyme or anything like that?
Because I'd done, because I had the decks and I was messing about on them. But yeah, I did. So I knew the point where to start from and where to finish. And it wasn't as complex with rhymes back then. So it's hard how you get your own sort of style and you get there. I think the main thing that comes from it is, well, for me anyway, is having a broad listening to lots of different types of music.
Yeah.
Because I think if you listen to one sort of thing, you kind of become or go towards what you listen to.
Yeah.
And I've always listened to loads of different styles. I mean, like I'd listen to fucking reggae, ragga, fucking drum and bass, all the way down to, like I said, like fucking pop shit.
But I think that if you solely just listened to crick tapes forever, I think your vocabulary would be limited, and it's like you'd start making rhymes that sound similar to theirs because it's all you know. You don't know any different. Whereas if you go and listen to a drum and bass MC, they might have rhymes where you're like, fuck me, that's quite inspiring, that. And then you bring it to bounce and you might come across as the most original person ever. Even though you probably took influence from, say, drum and bass or from, I don't know, like ragga stuff as well. Even some of their chants and shit. Like, you hear some of them. I've seen some live recordings of like these like ragga nights, and it's like they'll just do an off the cuff chant and it becomes their thing. Like a bit like Farrell's like "you can't touch me" type thing.
Yeah.
They'll just do this live chant and someone captures it on a recording or on a video or something, and that becomes their sort of, every time they're there, it's like fucking they do that chant. So I think it does widen your scope of like what you can write about as well.
It's also like with your style as well. I think that's what a lot of people struggle with, is finding their own style.
Yeah.
If anybody is looking to find their own style, is broaden your music, because like I think you take pieces of
Everything.
and that's what I think that's what I kind of did, was just also in medicine it was like a playground to sort of experiment, and I never really thought about it as like kind of we're recording CDs and they're going out there, we're pushing record. And
It's a good night, isn't it? Essentially, that's what it is. You're just having a good night out.
So it was a playground to just play about with stuff, and just learnt a lot from there and found my own style within there.
So we'll sort of like step back a little bit, but you told me off pod about how the medicine thing came about. So do you want to go into that? So what at this point, what were you doing on a weekly basis when you were going out before the whole medicine thing?
So like I said, we was doing like just home recordings and stuff like that, and then my first booking, what I got, would have been for Fash, for 24/7 party people. I don't know if you're around here.
No, I don't know that, I'm afraid.
Was Embargo. It's like a club in Tilsley. So that was my first booking.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that was, have you heard of Chambers in Leigh?
Yeah, like vaguely. Who was it that used to play there? There's a bounce DJ who used to play in there regular, wasn't there? Resident DJ in there.
It was like Walshy was on there, Pilke.
Yes, I do know. Yes, I do know it.
I can't remember. It was a long time ago.
2005, I'm gonna say. Was it 2000?
I'd say 2004, 2005, something like that.
I can remember seeing.
Maybe 2004. I'd leaning more towards,
Right. Okay.
because Medicine came. I've got CDs from 2005, and Medicine it was before then.
Right. Okay. So you were going out doing these bookings and that, and then what came next?
So Fitton, DJ Fitton, he's in my sort of. He's a little bit older than me, but he was in my sort of group of mates.
Yeah.
And I had an idea that he DJ'd, but like I said, I hadn't heard of Medicine or anything like that. And we was just sat in the beer garden. I think it was either a Friday or a Saturday, and he was saying that he's going up to this club and called Medicine in Warrington. Mm-hmm. I was like, come down if you want, jump on the mic. I was like, right, fuck it, yeah. And jumped in with him. Went down that night, and then that was it. It went every weekend after that.
So you were into like, you had zero expectations of what you were going into. No idea what the crowd was going to be like. No idea how big the venue was or anything like that. And you just turned up and then got on the mic.
Yeah. It's a mad place, Medicine, as well.
Yeah.
It's like for the first time you go in. Did you ever go?
I know. I've never been.
First time you ever go in there, you're like, what the fuck is going on here? It's absolutely hectic. Like, just everybody's going mad. Yeah, I've seen people go in Medicine and cry. I've seen girls just cry and just want to go home. So it was kind of like, wow, everybody's fucked in here.
Yeah.
Right, I just need to match their energy then.
Yeah.
So that's what I did, just threw myself in there, match the energy. And
So that first night you went, can you remember who was on, or were you welcomed?
yeah, there were people I hadn't heard of. There wasn't anybody that I'd know. Because I think a few for a few weeks before. I think the frequency lot maybe it started there. Walshy had done some nights there, and then I think they'd gone and moved to somewhere else, maybe Food Bar or something.
Yeah.
And then it was just a group of randomers, and then you had Fit and DJing, and then that's where Charlie and Wezzo would have met them, and I can't remember the names, but there was Flecky, Woody, not the Woody from Crick. Yeah, just a few randomers, and started going there every weekend. But it was all like the same people every week, so you kind of like got to know everyone, got to know everyone's faces, and everyone was sound. And it's that kind of when you go in that same place every week and everyone gets on. It was like,
is that what captured you to go back? Because the fact of
the music as well. I mean, I love the music and the whole MC, and also as well, the sound quality in there was pristine. It was like, because it was a low ceiling club and there was like speakers in the ceiling. There was speakers just all in the right places where they needed to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, the sound quality was mint, so I could really proper get into the music. I think when you can hear yourself, I can proper get into it.
Right, excellent. So, what was the first sort of night where you thought, "Fuck me, these lads are onto something here"? Because maybe established MCs or DJs were turning up, or what was the?
It didn't. Well, it was like I said. It wasn't a case of. We never did really think, oh, we're onto something. It was literally just going for the love of the music every week, doing that, and the place just started getting busier and busier and busier, and then we started doing recordings. So then the recordings were going out, and the more people that were listening to recordings, the more people were coming. And then I think the next stage where like established people were coming was like they did a Blackout versus, because it was Overdose that it was in, Blackout versus Overdose, and then that was when Kurt, Cover, Zach K, Dowie, Rapid, they came over, and then Kurt fell in love with the place as well.
Yeah.
And he did the same thing. Then he was there every week after that.
So when you were in there, did it feel like there must have been a moment where, not that you're onto something, but there must have been a bit where it clicked and it felt, this is a special time right now. Do you know what I mean? Because, right, I'm going to mention someone because he absolutely loves it, but Glover loves listening to Medicine CDs, and there must be some sort of magic. Personally, I don't get it. I don't understand why there is people out there, and there is a big group of people who have an obsession with Medicine CDs, because it's not really my type of thing. It was a bit too fast, I think, but that's my preference. But, like, there must have been something where you were there in the club and you must have just thought, maybe a moment where you thought, we're gonna look back on this and think, fuck me, I was living for that moment there. Obviously, it was like pre phones out and everything like that, so you could just see maybe looking over the dance floor, everyone having a good time, and you just thought, fuck me, this is great.
Yeah, I mean, definitely watching it grow from a club that was, relatively busy to being absolutely packed out, queues out the door every weekend, people coming from all over.
Yeah.
To get in there, then yeah. But like you said, because it was at the time, it wasn't like the sort of internet phones phase. I mean, yeah, the internet was about. I think we had, what was it, Wigan Tonight and Face Party and shit like that. There was no Facebook.
Yeah.
So you kind of didn't really see all the chat about it once people went away.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously you could see it was getting absolutely rammed every week, and it was the place that everybody wanted to go because it was open till 6 in the morning as well. It started at 12, open till 6, so people used to go Maxime's, Pear, and then after there they'd then come to Medicine.
Yeah.
So it'd be absolutely hammered till 6 in the morning. The lights would come on, and you'd be gutted. You'd be like, I'm ready to go for another few hours. It was like, it's not like that now. The lights come on, and I'm like, fuck.